Hi, sweet friend. Do you ever lose your keys in your bag? This little big mouth cover makes it so much easier to find. And it's actually really fun to make. Let's crochet it together. For this project, I'm using a soft DK weight yarn with a 3mm hook. We'll start with the main body, beginning with a foundation chain. Chain 7 stitches. Hold the yarn with your little finger and bring it over your index finger. Hold the yarn tail between your middle finger and thumb. Leave a short tail right here. Bring the hook under the yarn from below. Hold that crossed position with your thumb. Yarn over from above and pull up a loop. Tighten it to form a knot. This knot doesn't count as a stitch. To make a chain, yarn over and pull through the loop. That gives you 1 chain stitch. Keep going until you have 7 chain stitches. And that's 7 chains done. Starting in the second chain from the hook, work 5 single crochets. Then make a W stitch, 3 single crochets in the same stitch. After that, work 4 single crochets, then 1 increase. As you come back around, each V shape is 1 stitch. So that second chain becomes your next stitch. Go into the second chain, through the center, picking up that left half loop. We're using the waistcoat stitch here. Bring the yarn over from the top. You'll have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, and pull through both. That gives you 1 waistcoat stitch. Place your marker in that first stitch. After 5 single crochets, work a W stitch into the last stitch. That means 3 single crochets in the same spot. Then turn to the other side and work 4 single crochets. Pick up the remaining half loop as you go in. Crochet over the tail as you work to secure it. In the last stitch, make 1 single crochet increase. That's 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. For a slip stitch, go into the stitch, yarn over, and pull straight through. That's a slip stitch. And that finishes round 1, with 14 stitches. Round 2 starts with an increase, then 4 single crochets. Then 3 increases, 4 single crochets, and 2 increases. That gives you 20 stitches. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work an increase, 4 single crochets, then 3 increases. Then for single crochets and 2 increases. Remove the marker, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 2. For round 3, work 1 single crochet, then 1 increase, then 4 single crochets. Then repeat 1 single crochet and 1 increase 3 times. Work 4 single crochets. Then repeat 1 single crochet and 1 increase 2 more times. That gives you 26 stitches. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. 1 single crochet, 1 increase. For single crochets, repeat 1 single crochet and 1 increase 3 times. Work 4 single crochets. Then repeat 1 single crochet and 1 increase twice. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 3. From round 4 to 16, work 26 single crochets with no increases or decreases. For round 4, chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 26 single crochets around. Remove the marker, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. That finishes round 4. We're just repeating the same rhythm here, so I'll let this part move a little quicker. For round 17, first crochet 13 single crochets in a row, then chain 13 stitches, skipping 13 stitches. That makes a total of 26 stitches. First, chain 1 as a turning chain. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Thirteen single crochets. After finishing, directly start chaining. Make 13 chain stitches. Skip 13 stitches. Since we already made 13 single crochets, there are 13 stitches remaining. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. After chaining, we directly remove the stitch marker and join with a slip stitch to the stitch marked by the marker, which is the first stitch. Round 17 is complete. Round 18. First, crochet 13 single crochets in a row, then on top of the 13, chain stitches. Also pick up half loops to crochet 13 single crochets. That means 26 single crochets, with no increases or decreases. Chain 1 as a turning chain. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Repeat single crochet 13 times. Then pick up one side of our chain stitches, insert the hook into one side, flatten it out, and then pick the top half loop to insert the hook. Make another 13 single crochets. Remove the stitch marker and join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 18 is complete. For rounds 19 and 20, we crochet 26 single crochets with no increases or decreases. First, chain 1 as a turning chain. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Repeat single crochet 26 times. Remove the stitch marker and join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 19 is complete. Round 20 is crocheted in the same way as round 19. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 20 is complete. Round 21, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, then crochet 4 single crochets again. Then repeat 1 single crochet, 1 decrease 3 times. Crochet for single crochets again. Repeat, E single crochet, E decrease 2 times. That makes a total of 20 stitches. First, chain 1 as a turning chain. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Let's look at the decrease. Each stitch looks like a V. For a decrease, we pick the front loops of 2 stitches and combine them into 1 stitch. The front loop is the half of the stitch closer to us. Pick the front loop of the first stitch, then the front loop of the second stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over again, and pull through both loops on the hook at once. This is 1 decrease, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, then crochet 4 single crochets. Then repeat 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. Repeat 3 times. Crochet for single crochets again. Finally repeat E single crochet, E decrease 2 times. Remove the stitch marker and join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 21 is complete. Round 22. 1 decrease, then crochet for single crochets. Then crochet 3 decreases. Crochet for single crochets again, then 2 decreases. That makes a total of 14 stitches. First, chain 1 as a turning chain. E decrease, place a stitch marker in the first stitch. E decrease. Single crochets. Then decreases. Single crochets. 2 decreases. Remove the stitch marker. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 22 is complete. Round 23. 7 decreases, leaving 7 stitches at the end. First, chain 1 as a turning chain. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Repeat the decrease 7 times. Remove the stitch marker and join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 23 is complete. After joining, we can chain 1, leaving a small yarn tail. It doesn't need to be too long. Then weave this yarn tail to the back. You can tighten it here. Bring the yarn to the back. You can use either a crochet hook or a tapestry needle for this. You can pick any stitch in the middle. After hiding it, cut off the excess yarn tail. This completes our main body part. You can go into any stitch along this side or the other side, either one works. We'll be working in a continuous round here. If you're starting on this side, find your first stitch. Pull the yarn through to start. You can crochet over the tail as you go to secure it. Chain 1. This turning chain doesn't count as a stitch. Go right back into that same stitch and make 1 single crochet. That's your first stitch. Place your marker in that first stitch. Now work 13 single crochets. Crochet over the tail as you go. After 13 stitches, you'll reach the corner. Work 1 single crochet into each of those 2 gaps. Then along the top side, work another 13 single crochets. Once you reach the next corner, again, work 1 single crochet into each of the 2 gaps. That adds 2 stitches at each corner. You should have 30 stitches total. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes the first round of the mouth. Round 2. Work 13 single crochets, then 2 increases, then 13 single crochets, and 2 increases again. That gives you 34 stitches. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. "13 single crochets. Work 2 increases. "13 single crochets. Work 2 increases again. Remove the marker, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. That completes round 2. Round 3 starts with 13 single crochets, then 4 increases, then 13 single crochets, and 4 increases again. That gives you 42 stitches. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 13 single crochets, then 4 increases. Then 13 single crochets, and 4 increases again. Remove the marker, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 3. Round 4 is 42 single crochets with no increases. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 42 single crochets around. Remove the marker, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. That completes round 4. For round 5, start with 13 single crochets, then work for decreases, followed by 13 single crochets. Then for more decreases, that gives you 34 stitches. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. 13 single crochets. Work for decreases. Thirteen single crochets. Then for decreases, remove the marker. Slip stitch into the first stitch to join. Chain 1, then cut the yarn. Leave a short tail and tighten it gently, weave in the tail to hide it. You can weave through a few stitches on the front. Trim off the excess. Then turn the piece inside out. And that finishes the mouth. Next, we'll make the arms and legs. They're worked the same way, so you'll need 4 pieces. Start with a foundation chain, and leave a longer tail for sewing. Chain 5 stitches. Tighten the knot, it doesn't count as a stitch. Yarn over and pull through 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 chains. Now work back from the second chain from the hook. Go into that second stitch, picking up the left half loop. Make an increase, then a slip stitch in the same spot. No marker needed here. Again, make an increase, then a slip stitch in the same stitch. For the last 3 stitches, work 3 slip stitches. Pull the yarn through and leave a longer tail. Tie a knot here. That finishes one arm or leg. Make for the same way. For the eyes, start with a magic ring and 6 single crochets. You'll need 2 of these. Hold the yarn, bring it over your finger, and wrap once around. Hold that cross with your thumb. Go into the loop, yarn over, and pull through. Chain 1, this doesn't count as a stitch. Work 6 single crochets into the ring. One, 2, and keep going until you have 6. Tighten the ring. Slip stitch into the first stitch to join. You can bring the tail through to the back. Leave a short tail. That completes one eye. Make 2. For the strap, just chain to your desired length. Leave a small tail. Tie a knot and start chaining. Fold it in half to check the length. It should be slightly longer than the body, around 80 chains works well. Cut the yarn and pull it through. Tie a knot at the top. You can add a larger knot here, if you like. Tie it off, trim the tail, and set it aside. Next, let's work on the heart. Start with a magic ring and make 5 single crochets. Chain 1. This doesn't count as a stitch. Place your marker in that first stitch. Once you have 5 stitches, tighten the ring. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. Lay the tail over your hook and crochet over it. That finishes round 1. Round 2 is 5 increases, 2 single crochets in each stitch. Crochet over the tail and place your marker in the first stitch. Repeat 1 single crochet and 1 increase 5 times. Remove the marker. Slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 2. Round 3 is 10 single crochets with no increases. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 10 single crochets. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. That completes round 3. Make 2 identical pieces for these first 3 rounds. For the first piece, chain 1 and cut the yarn. Just chain 1, cut it, and set it aside. For the second piece, finish with a slip stitch. Pick up the first piece, making sure the right sides face you. Go into that first stitch. Insert your hook right there. Slip stitch to join them together. That connects the 2 pieces. And that finishes this round. Round 4 is 20 single crochets with no increases. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 20 single crochets. Right at the join, the gap is a bit wider here. So we'll make a decrease to keep it neat. Start the first unfinished single crochet. Then begin another one. Go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Then continue with the last single crochet. Keep working straight into the next stitch. That helps avoid a gap in the center. You can do the same on this side if needed. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 4. Round 5 starts with 3 single crochets, then 2 decreases, then 6 single crochets, followed by 2 decreases, then finish with 3 single crochets. That gives you 16 stitches. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Three single crochets. Two decreases. Don't miss that first stitch. Six single crochets. Two decreases. Three single crochets. Remove the marker, slip stitch into the first stitch to join. That completes round 5. Round 6 is 16 single crochets with no increases. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 16 single crochets. Finish this last round, then remove the marker. Slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 6. For round 7, start with 2 single crochets, then 2 decreases. Then for single crochets, follow by 2 decreases. That gives you 12 stitches. Finish with 2 single crochets. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Two single crochets. Two decreases. For single crochets. Then 2 decreases. Finish with 2 single crochets. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 7. Now you can add a little stuffing. Don't fill it too much yet, just a small amount for now. We'll set it aside for later. Just a light stuffing here, then set it aside. Next, let's work on the strap. After stuffing, insert the knotted end of the strap into the heart. Now we'll crochet the final round, which is 6 decreases. Chain 1. Place your marker in that first stitch. Work 6 decreases. Remove the marker, then slip stitch into the first stitch to join. And that completes round 8. Pull the loop long and leave a longer tail for sewing. Pull the yarn through and use a needle to close the opening. You can also add the strap after this round, but the opening will be tighter, so placing it earlier makes it easier, especially if you're still shaping. Thread your needle and pick up the front loops of the 6 stitches. The front loop is the half closer to you. If needed, you can add a bit more stuffing here. Then pull tight to close the opening. Weave the tail through the center a little. Follow the direction of the stitches as you weave it through. Go back and forth through a few stitches to secure it. That hides the tail. Trim off the excess yarn. And that finishes the heart with the strap. Now all the pieces are ready. Next, we'll move on to assembly. These are the braids. Each strand is about 20 centimeters long, and we need 6 strands for 1 braid. So, for 2 braids, prepare 12 strands in total. You can cut them now. Next, attach the arms and legs. For the legs, find a spot near the bottom. Weave the tails back and forth to secure them. Then pull the tails inside. Do the same on the other side. Tie a knot inside. Bring both leg tails inside like this. Then tie them together. Secure it with a knot. You can trim the tails and add a little glue, or weave them inside, whichever you prefer. Either way works. Attach the arms in a similar way, and hide the tails inside. Just weave them in. Place the legs at the bottom and the arms on each side of the mouth. Sew them where you like. At the top, find a spot a few rows down from the edge. Then toward the side. Pull the braid through. Adjust the length. Then divide it into 3 sections. You'll have 12 strands total. Use 4 strands per section. Then start braiding. Once you're done, tie it off with a matching piece of yarn. Trim the ends. That finishes one braid. Repeat on the other side. Now glue the eyes in place. Start with the white parts. Then add the pupils. Once everything is secure, bring the strap inside. And now, your big mouth key pouch is complete. Tidy up any loose ends and shape it gently. Your fun and practical key pouch is finished. If you enjoyed this, feel free to make one too.